Okay, welcome everyone. Uh, so we have a great show lined up for you today, and who better than Miglani to talk about the UK-India trade deal negotiations that have just started. Miglani, what's your opinion on this one?
I have no clue. I mean, I read newspaper stories in the Hindu, in Times of India, and whatever, and in the BBC and Guardian that things have started. I'm very
See, Miglani,
hopeful
I actually
that
know the
finally,
business
I
started
think it's
when
about a year, 8 or 10 months
no, Miglani.
later, because things were on a standstill.
Mhm. Miglani, I know the
I mean,
business
partly.
cards you carry in your wallet. So please don't tell us what you read in the newspapers. Tell us what's happening inside the halls of power.
So my reading has been that a lot of this negotiation stalled for a
Okay.
number of reasons. And this was nearly, the trade deal was nearly done about 3 or 4 years ago. Three
Okay.
years ago. And in fact, there were rumors that Modi ji is going to come to UK and then there will be a meeting and then will happen. Now, I don't want to go into the immediate reason, but things got stalled because there was a
Okay.
particular statement that was the catalyst, but then there were other underlying reasons why it was never announced.
Okay.
And then everything went awry. And for the last 2 or 3 years, UK has been in a political turmoil.
Hmm.
And for those of us who haven't been, as in who would care about the UK except for people like me who are staying in the UK, right? We've had three prime ministers in like 5 months.
Hmm.
Firstly, right? Even if you think about India in the late 90s, when we had a lot of prime ministers, it was still always three prime ministers in 5 years, not three prime
True.
ministers in 5 months.
Yes.
So that's what we went through. And after that, 1 year later, we had elections. Now we've got a fourth prime minister. Uh, and so the UK India trade talks have been stalled because who will India talk to? Do they know? I mean,
Yes.
are they going to talk to Starmer? Are they going to talk to Sunak before him? Are they going to talk to Liz Truss before, who was there for all of like 1.5, 3 months? And were
Yes.
they going to talk to Boris before that? किससे बात करना है, यही नहीं पता है. So
Okay.
there's no point. No one is going to waste time. And the good thing is now we've got a government in the UK and the trade talks have started. So I'm very
Okay.
optimistic about it. People think that uh, it'll lead to a win-win situation for the UK and India, and definitely I will win in either sense in
Sure.
UK and India. So I'm optimistic about it. But Vix, tell me one thing.
Sure.
यूके तो ठीक है, छोटी सी कंट्री है. What's happening in your big country USA? They are offering a gold visa कि पैसे दो सिटीजनशिप लो. ये क्या चल
Sure.
रहा है?
No, I think see,
पैसे दो सिटीजनशिप लो, पैसे दो सिटीजनशिप लो. मजा आ गया.
yeah, this is very interesting. I think it's always good to understand the root cause, right? It's also good to understand the arc of history. So in the arc of history, America was an empty continent. It needed the people, right? And now this continent is no longer empty. It already has the people. And America has done some things right. Individual freedom, freedom of speech, capitalism, it's got some things right. And at the same time, it has a $37 trillion debt. So, given this arc of history, given the current situation that it is in, what I think it's a logical thing to say that look, if you want to become a citizen of this country, pay us $5 million. But obviously, I have like Trump has said, oh, we might be able to get 1 million people to uh, to do this, and this will get us $5 trillion. Or if we get 10 million people to do this, that will get us $50 trillion. And now Trump is a very he tries to create a picture with his words, right? Now, but if you look at the reality of it, on the ground, people are saying maybe we'll issue 1,000 5 million visas in the first
विक्स
in
वो
the
सब
first.
तो ठीक है, बट ये क्या है कि मतलब 5 मिलियन दो और 5 मिलियन यूएस डॉलर्स विच
Yes,
इज 50 करोड़ 50 लाख which is
yeah, which
40
is
करोड़
around
इंडियन
40.
रुपीस. अगर
Yes,
इंडिया से someone wants a यूएस सिटीजनशिप, 40 करोड़ दो और सिटीजनशिप ले लो.
yes. Yes, and
Wow.
yeah, and obviously Trump says he will get 1 million people to take this offer. But I don't think so. The word on the street, the word on the ground is probably 1,000 people will take this offer because
That is
so
exactly as, I mean, forget a million people. किसके पास है? कितने लोग हैं जिनके पास 40
yeah,
करोड़ है?
exactly, and the 40 crores to just give, and you're very right. So, but what I like is that this is the bottom line is that you fall into a catch 22 situation where the interest payment on your debt is so high that you're literally borrowing money to pay your interest on the debt. And as you borrow money, it becomes higher, and then you fall into this self fulfilling prophecy or a snowball effect. So, America has to come up with ways to solve this problem. And I like the fact,
But do you
see,
think, let's see, Vix, अगर अगर हजार लोग ले भी लेंगे, this is a drop in the ocean in America's debt. I mean, the American debt is like 100 times more than this.
oh yes, अगर हजार लोग ले लेंगे तो they get $5 billion, but they have $37 trillion in debt. So it's obviously like 1,000 times
Exactly,
more.
कुछ भी
Yeah,
नहीं है.
so कुछ भी नहीं है. It doesn't make
हाँ.
any difference. But obviously, you have to run some experiments, right? Mane, word on the street is ki 1,000 people will take. Trump in his head is thinking 1 million people will take. Obviously, the number will lie somewhere between these two extremes. But you'll have to try different approaches and see which approach works. America's debt is unsustainable. America's spending is unsustainable. And I like the fact that this administration is coming up with ideas and trying to do things to reduce the debt. So this idea may not work, but maybe some other idea works. So overall, I like the fact that they're coming up with ideas.
But tell me, Vix, tell me, you said, Vix, you are saying you have to try different approaches. You said that uh, you have to test out things, which I conceptually believe in. But is this testing out, really testing out different things? Because E1 वीजा तो हमेशा से था, वो सिर्फ उसका लिमिट बढ़ा दिया है, वरना वीजा तो हमेशा से था कि मतलब पैसा दो, अब पैसा दे के आप एंटरप्रेन्योर वीजा तो ले सकते थे. एंड एवरी कंट्री, यूके हैज इट, Portugal has the best one in my opinion in Europe, and then Estonia has it. Estonia has an e visa कि आ जाओ, कोई भी हमारा सिटीजन बन जाए. अब कोई बनना नहीं चाहता है, वो दूसरी बात है, बट ठीक. So it's not a new approach, it's just new newly popularized. Because how is it different from the E1 visa?
देखो E1 वीजा में प्रॉब्लम क्या होती थी मिगलानी कि people needed to find a project where they could put $1 million that would create 10 jobs. Now apparently
Okay,
there's a wait list of 250,000 people who want to give $1 million to US to come to America, but the thing is they're not finding projects where they can get 10 jobs. They can
right.
certify that 10 jobs were created. So what Trump is trying to say is, I'll remove the requirement for 10 jobs. Give me $5 million, come to America, and then just because you're rich and successful, I expect that your rich and successful entrepreneurial spirits will create jobs. So obviously there is a wait list of 250,000 people. Again, this is what I've read in the media, and what he's saying is that we can reduce this wait list by increasing the price and reducing the requirement of creating 10 jobs.
Chalo, let's wait and watch on this, because I think this is a new story. I hope some of our listeners and viewers, they've caught it. They've got their own thoughts. In fact, I've got a comment here from Saikat Samant. So I hope
Okay.
I'm pronouncing your name right, Saikat. Is what would it take for you to leave the US and UK to return to India? उसने US पहले बोला है, so Vix, you have to go first.
What would it take for you to leave US and you can return to India? See, look, I have my daughter here who was born here. I don't think she can adjust to American culture, and I unfortunately am separated from my wife. So, and me and my ex-wife we make independent decisions about where to live. So I can't live away from my daughter because I consider it my responsibility to be a good father figure. So I think at the age of 47, that ship has sailed for me. I'm going to be here at least for the next 10 years as she goes to 18, and after 10 years, who knows about life? Life's too random. So that's the answer for me, Miglani. Like it's an emotional decision now, and And what I have realized is that once you come to a country as an immigrant, you start forming ties. You get married, you have children, you have friends, and those ties they don't allow you that freedom to move anymore. So that's my story. What
Yeah.
about you, Miglani?
No, it's nearly the same story and cycle. So my answer is, it won't take anything because I can't. I'm stuck here, and I'm stuck here for at least in the life stage that I am and the age of my kids who are going to school here. They are 10 and 13 years old. They'll be in university in the next 6 to 8 years. तब तक तो इंडिया मेरे को गोल्ड प्लैटिनम कोई भी वीजा दे दे, नॉट दैट आई नीड अ वीजा, आई एम एन इंडियन पासपोर्ट होल्डर, बट इफ आई नीडेड मैं जा ही नहीं सकता हूँ because I want to be close to my kids. Now, when the kids go to university, it's a different matter. Then I'm a free bird once again, just like I was before I had kids. It's a different thing. Now, hypothetically, and I've thought about this. Grass is always greener on the other side, kind of hypothetically. If I didn't have kids, I would absolutely want to be in India. It's the biggest market, it's the fastest growing market among all major markets, and why wouldn't you want to be? So, so yeah, but that's hypothetical. So don't put that in too much of weight because yeah, whatever. I've got
Sure.
another comment here, which
Hmm.
says in India it would be better option to get the golden visa of UAE and move to Dubai and live in the tax haven of Dubai. Oh my God! Don't even tell me about tax haven of Dubai. 0% tax. Vix, yeah, I think you pay 30% tax or something like that, right?
Although I pay, because I live in California, I pay around 35% to the federal government. Then I pay 12% to California government. By the time it's all said and done, it's up approximately 50%.
So, our direct tax is about 45%, and including direct tax, which is not direct tax kind of tax, then it is about 55%. And I'm not even calculating the VAT or the indirect tax, the GST type of VAT tax.
Yeah.
55%. तो 100 कमाओ तो 55 तो निकल जाता है.
Yes.
दैट इज इट.
Yeah.
45 में से आप करते हो, उसके ऊपर आप टैक्स देते हो. एंड यू नो व्हाट, दैट रिमाइंड्स मी, इंडिया में जब जीएसटी रोल आउट हुआ था, and there were like so many YouTube videos, there were so many posts on various social media, including WhatsApp, that how GST is like increase the cost and all. And I was sitting back, it's like, boss, tell me. मैं तो मतलब 20 साल से यूके में देख रहा हूँ. I'm paying through my nose for all this because it has been. And see, every developed country has these taxes. You can call them VAT or GST or by whatever name. They have these taxes, and I think it is. I personally think GST in India was like a big step forward because it's actually giving you credit for the tax you've paid at the previous level. So yeah, that was my thing. But Vix, I have to come back to you because I have this burning topic in my mind, and especially since we were talking about the US. एक्स टोकन, ये क्या है? ये मतलब अभी हम ट्रम्प की बात कर रहे थे, अब मस्क की बात कर रहे हैं, उसने एक्स टोकन लॉन्च कर दिया है. व्हाट इज दिस? एंड यू हैव टू एक्सप्लेन इट टू मी बिकॉज I'll be honest, for you, you know this probably, but for all our viewers, I have been a big crypto skeptic. It's only in the last 12 to 18 months that I've started realizing कि boss, I may be a skeptic, but अगर गंगा वहां पे बह रही है तो उसमें हाथ तो धोना पड़ेगा ही पड़ेगा. So as an investor, I've started catching up. But I feel, Vix, I am so late to the party, and you have to explain to me firstly what is crypto and how does X token improve or change the game, if at all.
Sure. So let me correct you, Viglani. And Elon Musk has not launched an X token. So I think there is a lot of scamming going on Twitter with people saying, "Oh, an X token is launched," but there is no official launch of X token. So that's number one. And number two is your
Is it not?
apprehension.
I thought उसने post किया था कि X token is available.
No, no. Somebody else might have uh, put their Elon Musk on their profile picture or created an account called E1ON Musk or something. So instead of L, they put a one. So somebody did all that to even, like, if somebody can get through to you, like, and then that's a warning to all the listeners here, that if somebody can go get through to Miglani, like, who I take my financial advice from him. So somebody can get through to him. That means this crypto world is full of scammers. So you have to be very careful. Uh, so that's point number one. But point number two, and more importantly, what Miglani said was, what is this cryptocurrency? What is this cryptocurrency world? And is there any, like, 100 years from now, do we expect cryptocurrencies to play a bigger role in our life? 100 years from now, will we be able to buy coffee using cryptocurrency? And is there a, like, in the arc of history and at the time that we are in, does cryptocurrency play a role? Now, before that, one of my close friends asked me, Kecha Vikas, you worked on cryptocurrency. Can you explain to me what it is? And I told him that right now we give power to the central government to say that, okay, I have $100 that I've given to Miglani and $50 I've given to Vikas. So that's power is with the bank, right? And only the bank has the power that, okay, Miglani's account has $100 and Vikas's account is $50. The bank might tomorrow say, oh, actually, Miglani's account has $150 and Vikas' account is zero. I can't do anything about it because
Right. No,
that
you can.
database,
You can. But why do you think you can't? I mean,
sure.
banks can't change like that. I mean, I know that's like a hypothetical situation, but typically that never happens.
It doesn't happen, but it does happen when you get to this level of the central government, right? Because the central government can come and say, okay, I've just given the country of America $1 trillion to spend. Where did those $1 trillion come from? The central government literally created that money out of thin air, right? And when central government created that $1 trillion out of thin air, everybody in America became poorer because now there's more supply of money in the economy, but everybody in America is still holding the same amount of money, right? And all the assets inflate and so on. So you're right. Usually commercial banks cannot do it, but the central bank has the power to do it, right? Now, what does cryptocurrency say? The cryptocurrency takes this power away from the central government, and it says that we will maintain books of accounts, who has how much money, in a decentralized fashion. There'll be no one person who can say who has how much money. Because once you make it decentralized, the power is no longer with the central bank to say who has how much money
So
at the
who has
part
how
level.
much money? How is that decided? Who has more cryptocurrency?
Perfect. That's such a good question. And I will try to explain it, and I can take it from someone who's actually written code on cryptocurrency. So it's decided in two very, very simple ideas. And like most beautiful things in life, those ideas are simple. And like most things in life on the internet, even if you read for a year, nobody will talk about these two simple, beautiful ideas. And so the first beautiful idea is that imagine a text file where all you can do is you can add a line. You can never delete or edit a line that's already been added. Okay. So we call it a pen only journal, but you don't have to think of that. Just think of it कि अपने कंप्यूटर पे एक नोटपैड की फाइल खोलिए जिसमें तुम खाली लाइन ऐड कर सकते हो. तो अगर मैंने पहली लाइन ऐड
Okay.
कर दी कि निगरानी के पास 100 है, विकास के पास 50 है, तो मैं वो पहली दो लाइन में कभी भी एडिट नहीं कर सकता. I can add a third line कि मिगलानी ने विकास को 10 दिए. तो there's another piece of software that can read this whole line and say कि अच्छा after the third line मिगलानी के पास 90 था, विकास के पास 60 था. Now a fourth line can be added, a fifth line can be added, and so on. So that's rule number one. It's an append only text file, add only text file. Now, what is the second rule? क्योंकि सिर्फ add only text file है, तो ठीक है, विकास जाके लिख देगा कि बिगलानी ने विकास को 100 के 100 दे दिए. तो how do we validate कि हम वो राइट किसको दे लिखने की? और आप जिसको भी वो राइट दोगे उस टेक्स्ट फाइल में लिखने की, वही सेंट्रल बैंक बन जाएगा, राइट? उसी के पास पावर है कि वो लिख देगा कि मैंने गवर्नमेंट को दे दिया 1 लाख या 1 करोड़, राइट? सो the second innovation is that instead of having one accountant, the central bank, that's the accountant जो कि ये accounts maintain कर रहा है, we will have n number of accountants all throughout the world. और हम उसी फाइल को विश्वास करेंगे जिस जिस अकाउंटेंट ने सबसे पहले वो एंट्री करी है। तो आज अगर एक अकाउंटेंट नहीं रहा, हमारा गोल क्या था कि वो सेंट्रल बैंक को ये टेक्स्ट फाइल से कंट्रोल हटाना है। तो हमने दुनिया में कह दिया कि कोई भी अपने सर्वर पे चला लो, अब टेक्स्ट फाइल पे तुम लिख सकते हो। तो फिर प्रॉब्लम आती है कि बहुत बदमाश लोग अपनी कंप्यूटर चला लेंगे और टेक्स्ट फाइल में कोई कुछ भी लिख देगा, राइट। तो उसको हमने कैसे सॉल्व किया, हम कहेंगे कि उस टेक्स्ट फाइल में लिखने के लिए तुमको एक मैथमेटिकल प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी पड़ेगी। बिटकॉइन के केस में हमने ऐसे किया, और इथीरियम के केस में हमने किया कि टेक्स्ट फाइल में लिखने के लिए तुम्हें 1000 इथीरियम को दाव पे लगाना होगा कि देखो मैं टेक्स्ट फाइल में लिख रहा हूं, अगर किसी ने गलती प्रूव कर दी तो मेरे ये 1000 इथीरियम तुम ले लेना, राइट। तो उसको कहते हैं प्रूफ ऑफ स्टेक। और बिटकॉइन ने क्या किया कि मैं एक कॉम्प्लिकेटेड मैथमेटिकल प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहा हूं, उसको कहते हैं प्रूफ ऑफ वर्क। और हमने क्या किया, हमने कहा कि 51% ऑफ अकाउंटेंट्स जो ट्रूथ मानेंगे हम उसी को ट्रूथ मानेंगे। तो अगर सपोज मैं बदमाश हूं, मैंने जाके लिख दिया कि मिलानी ने अपने 100 के 100 विकास को दे दिए, मैंने बदमाशी से, ठीक है, मैंने बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड मैथ प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करी और फिर मैंने लिख दिया। बट अगर दुनिया में दो और लोग हैं जो कि सपोज हम इनफाइनाइट नंबर नहीं मानते, 3 अकाउंटेंट है दुनिया में, विकास बदमाश अकाउंटेंट, उसने मैसेज दिया, पर जो दो एक्चुअल अकाउंटेंट, उसने कहा नहीं, मिगलानी ने तो साइन ही नहीं करी थी, क्योंकि कोई भी एक दूसरे को पैसा देता है तो उसको आपको अपनी डिजिटल सिग्नेचर लगानी होती है। तो कहा मिगलानी तो साइन ही नहीं किया, तो विकास गलत बोल रहा है, तो वो अपनी उस टेक्स्ट फाइल में एंट्री नहीं करेंगे। तो द सोर्स ऑफ ट्रूथ कि सही जर्नल कौन सी है, सही टेक्स्ट फाइल कौन सी है, दैट डिटरमाइंस कि मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द नेटवर्क कि जो मेजॉरिटी अकाउंटेंट्स को उसको सही मानते हैं। तो बस ये दो सिंपल फैक्ट से पूरी क्रिप्टो करेंसी बनी है। तो
वो सब तो ठीक है, वो सब तो ठीक है, एंड आई बिलीव इन इट, एंड आई थिंक दिस इज मोर फेयर देन व्हाटएवर एल्स वी हैव सीन विद सेंट्रल बैंक्स। बट मेरा क्वेश्चन इससे भी ज्यादा बेसिक है कि ये जनरेट कौन कर रहा है। आई हैव गॉट टू क्वेश्चंस। मैं पहला वाला बोलता हूँ, ये आ कहां से रहा है? जैसे सबसे पहले गोल्ड आता था, गोल्ड वाज द ओरिजिनल फॉर्म ऑफ करेंसी,
यस
एंड गोल्ड वाज कि समवन वाज माइनिंग इट,
यस। तो
right?
मिगलानी देखो
Even Bitcoin, we hear the terms mining bitcoins. So
यस
what does that mean?
यस। सो मिगलानी, तुम्हारी ये बात बहुत अच्छी लगती है कि तुम एकदम ना माने यू गो डाउन टू द कोड, द बेसिक्स, कि ये बना कौन रहा है। तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल आज मैं और तुम मिलके एक आम के बाद का टोकन बना सकते हैं, और लिटरली 200 लाइन का ही कोड है, कोई बहुत बड़ा सोर्स कोड भी नहीं है, आम के बाद का टोकन हो गया। और हम कह सकते हैं कि जो भी हमारे यहाँ के सवाल, और सपोज हमने बोल दिया कि 10,000 टोकन है, और फिर हम बोल सकते हैं कि जो भी हमारे लाइव चैनल में के सवाल पूछेगा उसको 10 टोकन दे देंगे, बिकॉज वो हमारे चैनल को इंप्रूव कर रहा है, राइट। तो लाइन लाइन में क्या लिखा होगा कि जैसे सैकत ने सवाल पूछा कि सैकत नाउ हैज 10 आयम के बाद टोकन्स, फिर सपोज और किसी ने पूछा सो दैट पर्सन हैज 10 आयम के बाद टोकन्स। फिर हो सकता है कि सैकत बोलेगा कि यार मुझे पैसों की जरूरत है, मैं रिचा को भेज देता हूं मेरे 10 टोकन। तो सैकत अपने कंप्यूटर पे डिजिटली साइन कर देगा कि मैंने रिचा को मेरे 10 टोकन बेच दिए। तो थर्ड एंट्री होगी सैकत गेव 10 टोकन्स टू रिचा। तो माने यू एंड आई वी कैन टुगेदर क्रिएट अ आयम के बाद 10,000 टोकन, एंड एंड दैट इज
तो ये
इट।
बिटकॉइन कहां से बन रहा है? बिटकॉइन के टोकन कहां से निकल रहे हैं?
एग्जैक्टली। तो so there was this guy called Satoshi Nakamoto. We don't know his real identity yet.
Yeah.
तो
वो
उसने
पता
बोला,
नहीं है वो कौन है। वो कुड बी डोनाल्ड ट्रंप, इट कुड
yes
बी इलॉन मस्क, इट
yes
कुड बी जॉर्ज सोरोस, और
yes
इट कुड बी whoever your worst enemy is.
yes exactly। तो उसने क्या कहा कि उसने वो 200 लाइन की सॉफ्टवेयर लिखी और उसने कहा कि ये रही टेक्स्ट फाइल जो कि लेजर है, किसके पास कितने टोकन है, और ये उसने सॉफ्टवेयर भी लॉन्च कर और ओपन सोर्स कर दिया, सॉफ्टवेयर भी और टेक्स्ट फाइल भी, राइट। क्योंकि उसके बाद कोई सेंट्रल अकाउंटेंट की तो जरूरत है नहीं। और उसने कहा कि अब इनिशियली तुमको सीडिंग करनी पड़ेगी, राइट, तुमको तो कुछ टोकन्स लोगों को बांटने होंगे, तभी तो लोग एक्सचेंज करना। जैसे हमने कहा कि सैकत जब सवाल पूछेगा तो उसको हम टोकन्स देंगे, और उसने क्या कहा कि अगर तुम मैथमेटिकल प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करोगे तो मैं तुम्हें टोकन्स दूंगा। तो लोगों ने वो मैथमेटिकल प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करनी स्टार्ट कर दी, एंड इनिशियली जिन्होंने अपने अपने कंप्यूटर पे वो सॉफ्टवेयर लगा के मैथमेटिकल प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करी, एंड दोस वर आर्बिट्ररी प्रॉब्लम्स, नॉट जस्ट हेल्पिंग इन एनी साइंटिफिक रिसर्च और एनीथिंग, एंड दोस पीपल स्टार्टेड टू गेट टोकन्स, एंड दैट्स हाउ सडनली पहले 10 लोगों के पास टोकन आए, फिर 1,000 लोगों के पास, फिर 10,000 लोगों के पास, तो ऐसे करके
अभी
टोकन।
कहां से आ रहे हैं? अभी किसके पास आ रहे हैं टोकन्स?
हाँ
अभी कहां
तो
से आ रहे हैं?
हाँ तो अब उसने एक रूल बनाया अपने सॉफ्टवेयर में कि हर साल मैं एक लिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ टोकन से नए इशू करूंगा। तो और टोटल नंबर ऑफ टोकन्स मेरी बिटकॉइन के 21 मिलियन ही होंगे। तो उस 21 मिलियन में से 19 मिलियन टोकन डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो गए। अब जो बाकी के 2 मिलियन टोकन्स हैं वो स्लोली स्लोली हर साल जो एक उसकी लिमिट है उस लिमिट के हिसाब से डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो रहे हैं।
ओके, ओके, ठीक है। आई नीड टू मल ओवर इट। मैं 10-15 साल से सीखने की कोशिश कर रहा
हाँ।
हूँ, very passively. Last 1 year, may I've started trying to understand a bit more, and I think this helped me quite a lot. But I still have a long way to go in
हम्म।
terms of my understanding on tokens and crypto.
हम्म।
And from the way I see it, Vix, and tell me if I'm wrong, is I think now I'm starting to believe that crypto is here to stay,
यस।
and which is obviously the reason why I'm thinking of getting into it as an investor, because I don't dabble into random things
यस।
uh, unless I'm sure of returns. And the second thing is that I don't invest in anything if I don't understand it.
हम्म।
ये
हम्म।
सट्टा नहीं खेलते.
यस।
And some people do it, and a lot of them make money, but मुझे ये है कि I don't want to invest in something which I don't understand inside out. So maybe on this channel, maybe otherwise, I'll definitely want to learn more about crypto from you. And whether it is X tokens, which we feel is, we realize that is fake now, or Dogecoin, or Bitcoin, or whatever else like Ethereum. तो इसकी
यस।
तो बात हम करते रहेंगे. पर मुझे एक चीज बताओ, did you realize we were talking about it like 1 or 2 episodes ago? The Mahakumbh.
यस।
Mahakumbh finally finished after like 45, 48 days, and it beat all the forecasts, that the high forecast that even we at 3 episodes ago were saying about uh, 50 crore log aayenge.
यस।
I think the number is 61 crores from the
यस।
some official figures that I read yesterday.
I'm very impressed. My brother said he visited Mahakumbh and he said कि बहुत ही अच्छी सब व्यवस्था करी हुई थी. I'm so impressed. It makes me proud to be an Indian that we can pull this off. Like it's probably bigger than the population of all of Europe that visited an area which is a small town. So I'm so
It's bigger
impressed.
than whole of Europe plus Russia. Think about it that
Uh,
way. I mean, that entire northern hemisphere on this continent, रशिया
yes,
से लेके मतलब वो कोरिया से लेके इंग्लैंड तक
yes,
पूरी पॉपुलेशन से ज्यादा लोग तो
yes.
1.5 महीने में एक शहर में आ गए.
यस। और हमारी कल्चर और हमारी श्रद्धा कितनी इम्पोर्टेंट है और कितनी अभी भी डीपली रूटेड है. इट्स सो इम्प्रेसिव. इट्स वेरी इम्प्रेसिव. Miglani, what do you think about the Central Board of Secondary
And you know
Education?
what? Maybe it was a coincidence.
Yes, go ahead, Miglani.
Sorry,
आप कुछ कह रहे थे? Maybe it is a coincidence.
sorry, I didn't get the question.
Okay, I was asking you, what do you think about the Central Board of Secondary Education saying that they will hold two exams every year, and people can choose either to give one exam or both the exams, and they can choose which of the higher marks to use.
कौन सा सेंट्रल बोर्ड कहाँ पर?
हमारे इंडिया का सेंट्रल बोर्ड सेकेंडरी क्लास 10 का
कहाँ
एग्जाम
पर?
इंडिया में.
Oh, CBSE. You mean
हाँ.
CBSE?
Yes.
जिसको CBSE, ICSE, that kind of a CBSE
Yes.
board. Okay. I think yeah, I read that, I heard that they are doing the 10th boards twice a year, not just one
Yes.
day. Because I
Yes.
remember when we did the CBSE, I did the CBSE long, long ago. It was on one day,
नहीं,
or
वो
rather,
तो
the
one day,
one day.
नहीं, 5 सब्जेक्ट थे
It was
पर
one week,
overflow.
and there were like
हाँ.
five or six papers in that week, and
Yes.
if you missed one exam, there was
Yes.
no other day that you could give that exam.
Absolutely.
Imagine that.
Yes.
उसमें no marks ही नहीं थे. So I think this is the best thing that can happen. This is in line with
Yes.
the rest of the world. In
Yes.
fact, I see out here. So the CBSE 10th and 12th counterpart in the UK is called GCSE and A levels,
Okay.
and that is like an ongoing thing. कि किसी भी दिन जाकर देना है, दे दो.
Exactly. Even in the
It's
US.
not like one single
uh,
day or two days. जब
yes.
देना है, दे दो.
Yes.
जब आप रेडी हो, दे दो.
Yes. Yes. I like that approach much better.
So
I
it's
don't
almost
think.
like कि 10th में हो, 10th में ये वाले 3 महीने में, लास्ट के 3 महीने में आपको किसी भी दिन जाना है. I think that is it's very difficult to do it in a country of the size of India. Very,
Yes.
very difficult. बट हमने अब महाकुंभ कर लिया है
Yes.
60 करोड़ लोगों के साथ, तो सीबीएसई बोर्ड भी कर लेंगे 20-30 करोड़
Yes.
बच्चों के साथ.
Yes.
But I
Yes. You are
love it,
doing very
and I'll
well.
give you why. There's a personal reason, personal example is so I have a younger brother, and when my brother was in the 10th, he got he got jaundice around the time after his pre boards. This was like 30 years ago. So जॉन्डिस हो गया. पता नहीं, मेरे को कभी नहीं हुआ थैंकफुली जॉन्डिस. हमारे घर में किसी को नहीं हुआ, बट उसको हो गया था जॉन्डिस. And when he had it, he couldn't study between that pre boards or boards के period में. In fact, he was just, you know what, well enough to stand up and go to the exams when the boards came. अब अगर आपने 1 महीने से पढ़ाई नहीं करी और बाकी हर बच्चा मतलब उसमें मग्गा मार मार के रगड़ रहा है, तो कितने मार्क्स आएंगे? ही वॉज लाइक वन ऑफ द टॉपर्स इन स्कूल, and he didn't get any university admission based on his sorry, not university admission. He didn't get his subjects in his 11th 12th, and that then led to a lower grade in the 12th, because it's a domino effect.
No, I
So
completely
I
agree
have
with you.
seen this very closely personally कि अगर उस हफ्ते के बदले अगर वो 2 हफ्ते बाद when he was well from jaundice, when if he was able to give his exams, अगर होता, then his marks from whatever he got, I don't even remember, and it doesn't matter 30 years later, but जो भी उसको थे 70% के बदले वो 95% लेकर आता.
Sure. Sure.
ये
No, I
हमें पता
completely
है.
agree. Yeah.
But
Yeah. I like the way India is moving, and I do hope that India ends up doing what UK does. And even in the US, at the end of class 12th, before you enter into a university, you have to write SAT exams, and you can write SAT exams anytime. You can choose the day, and you can go give that exam. And I think that's a much better approach. And
yeah,
I hope, but it's so good to see that our country is moving in the right direction. So I'm very impressed by that. So
I
Miglani,
think so. I think so. Vix,
yeah,
I have one more comment here in the chat
yes,
where, like, please also speak on Zelensky Trump debacle that has shocked the world. And I'll
yes,
give the response here. I don't want to. Do you know why? Because मैं आज जो भी बोलूंगा अगले हफ्ते उसका उल्टा ही होने वाला है. So this
sure,
is for me what's happening between Zelensky, Trump, the various EU leaders in that thing. For me, अनफॉर्चुनेटली मैं तो सिर्फ पॉपकॉर्न का डब्बा लेकर मैं खा रहा हूँ और देख रहा हूँ कि हो क्या रहा है.
yeah,
And I say unfortunately क्योंकि a lot of this what will happen in those negotiations will affect all of us, not just
yeah,
in US or Europe, but in India, in China, in every part of the world कि क्या
yes,
होगा. But we can't do anything. So हम
yes.
बोलेंगे maybe next Friday. Let's discuss that as one of the topics कि क्या हुआ. Maybe we'll have one more week of information what's happening in the flip flop.
Yeah, but Miglani, I would like to add a comment here. I actually saw
Hmm.
how Trump, Zelensky, and JD Vance they actually got into an argument in front of the cameras. Now, what I would like to say, look, first of all, I'm not in the shoes, so but from where I sit, the things that you say in private and the things that you say in public, and
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's okay to have those kind of discussions in public. I
क्या
think
हुआ था? I didn't see that. What
no,
did
no,
who
they
said what
literally
in
got
public?
into a shouting match. They literally got into a shouting match where Trump said, "You're not." you're not showing your gratefulness to America, which is true. He's
Hmm.
not showing his gratefulness to America. And Zelensky says that you're not realizing what Russia has done, which is also true that America is not realizing what Russia has done. And
No,
probably,
I think on that that was a polite way of saying that Zelensky should have said, "You've not realized ki in your previous, like just 3 months ago, we had those guys made me go into the war."
yes, exactly. So, like, I feel like some of these conversations can happen in private. Like, you don't want the world to see those fights. I'll recommend, see, look, I'm 47 years now, and I used to be younger where I didn't understand the difference between conversations that you have in public and conversations that you have in private. And actually, Miglani has been helpful in that personal growth story of mine, where there's some conversations that are private conversations, and you don't have them in public. And what I'm concerned about is that the effect this has on my daughter, who's in eighth grade, and she's recently started to take interest in politics and so on. And I wanted to see a civilized world. I don't want her to see a world where adults are fighting while millions have died or are dying, like kids almost, like as if people's egos have been hurt. One guy is saying, "You haven't told me that you were grateful." JD Vance is saying, "Oh, you went and campaigned for Biden in Pennsylvania 3, 4 months ago." And Zelensky is saying that you don't understand what Putin has done to us. These are people fighting with their egos on their hands, without showing the statesmanship, right? We expect our presidents and our prime ministers and our leaders to have a statesmanship. That wasn't on display. And again, uh,
Well, like I said, this is a story. This will go on for some time. I think these negotiations will go for at least 6 months, if not a bit longer. For anyone on this show, if you thought that the U.S., Russia, Ukraine, EU negotiations are going to get finished in 3 weeks, my bet is on 6 months, possibly closer to 12. But the
yes,
good thing is, in my opinion, that a start has been made. And that's the good thing because for the last 3 years, people were saying, I'm not going to talk to that person. उसकी शक्ल देख के मैं अपना मुड़ जाता था. That has stopped. And I love it. That at least a start has been made. So maybe on this show, maybe otherwise, we will discuss more of this. So keep in tune, keep watching. And I've got this announcement to make.
sure,
So
Bilani.
from Wednesday, we are going to we have cut out. If you've seen our previous shows, we spoke a lot about AI. Why were we speaking about AI? Because AI is here to stay. And AI is here to stay for at least the rest of my life and possibly for everyone else's life who's watching this show. So you're either in it or not. And therefore, we decided that AI is important enough that we are not covering on our Fridays, but we have AI Wednesdays. So if you subscribe to this channel, you will find, and maybe what's that called? Ghanti daba do, ring the bell. You'll get a notification when AI Wednesdays come, and we will. Our first one will starting this Wednesday, and then we'll do it weekly. So whatever you missed, and the summary, a 30-minute summary of what we track on a daily basis, on an hourly basis about what's happening in the world of AI as part of our jobs. We will summarize that for you in 30 minutes every Wednesday night. We'll tell you the time because we are still deciding. We have our own challenges on a working Wednesday when we'll be able to do it. Apart from it's not our, this is not our main job, as you all know. So we'll look forward to see you there on the first episode, but in due course, AI Wednesdays, meet us there. And on that note, have a great weekend. Vix, you have a great weekend too.
Thank you, Miglani, and look forward to talking to you guys again. Bye.
Cheers. Bye now.